everybody, it's Mr. Regner, and I've got an introduction for you here for chapter 9.4. This is the chapter that talks all about measures of variation. So it may be possible to use measures of variation to best interpret data from statistics. We've already talked about measures of center. That's another way we could do that. We talked about mean or average, another way we could do that. Measures of variation, just another way to analyze data. So I've come up with a statistical question. I've gathered some data for it, and here are my numbers. So one way that we can find a measure of variation is something called a range. So when you think about a range, you think about, like, I think about anyway, like the West, like the Old West, and how there was just miles and miles of land, and they call that the range. So as far as you can see, from one end of a mountain range all the way to the other end, that's what the range is. You might know that song, Home, Home on the Range, where the deer and the antelope play. There's a reason I'm wearing my choir shirt, right? So I wear the shirt, I don't actually sing. Anyway, if we know that range is this spread out expanse of space, the same is true actually in mathematics and in statistics. So range is just the difference between our smallest number and our biggest number. And so you can see here, my smallest number is 0, the biggest number is 12. If I just take the biggest number, subtract the smallest number, I come up with my range, and my range here would be, obviously, 12. That's the difference between the biggest and smallest numbers. There's also something called the interquartile range, or IQR. We get really fancy with this, but we take the same data set, and again, as long as it's in numerical order, it makes it really easy for us. We're going to take a look and try to find out the median, the middle, right? So if I look at this, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 numbers in my data set. That's an odd numbered data set, so the middle number is going to be my median. It's the one in the middle. So it would be this 7 right here. I can circle that, in fact. And we actually call that our median. We could also call it quartile 2, because everything over here, this is quartile 1. Everything over here is quartile 3. So in order to figure out the interquartile range, I need to figure out what is the median of my first quartile and the median of my third quartile. So I've got 1, which would be the middle of quartile 1. I've got 10, which is the middle of quartile 3. And I'm going to figure out what is the range between those two. So the difference between 10 and 1, the IQR, or interquartile range, would be 9. That's a really quick look at what we're doing. It would be most helpful for you to read this section, chapter 9.4, in your textbook. Take a look at the example videos, practice using the try it problems, and then go into Big Ideas Online to complete your online assignment for this section. I'm Mr. Regner saying, stay safe.